Hi, I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums, and I've been cleaning carpets for 40 years. Today I'm going to show you how to start your own carpet cleaning business from the humblest beginnings to the baddest truck mount on the planet. Come on inside, take a look. Okay, here it is, your basic setup to really get going and do a decent job. First of all, you have your portable, has good vacuum, has good heat, has a nice wand, and it also has your hoses, your cords, and everything else like that. And then just your basic chemistry. You got a pre-spray, you got a rinse, you got something for urine. Now, with all that, you can do a great job. However, you might want to add these things, like starting off with pre-agitation. Pick yourself up a CRB. What is that? It's two cylindrical brushes that are turning in different directions, and it really gets down inside the carpet, digs out that soil for you, and helps you get a better clean, especially when you're working with a portable or even a truck mount. All right, so you just press the button, boom. Does a great job. And then when you're ready, the next upgrade you want to do is get rid of this junky wand and get yourself a nice TMF modified swivel wand with a sight glass on it so you can see all the detergent and the soil coming out of there. Plus it's got a swivel head. That way you can get up on the furniture, reducing your workload, making your life easier, and doing a greater job. Okay, another cool upgrade is a booster. Why do I say that? Because sometimes it's heavy and awkward moving your portable up and down several stairs if you got a second floor or a third floor. So what can you do? Well, you can get yourself a booster like this right here. It's an inline booster. You can park this upstairs and you can go clean the whole upstairs, bring it down, and it also almost doubles your vacuum. On top of it, you can just leave this in the kitchen or you can leave it in the bathroom in one spot, keep it full, keep it dumped, and keep right on moving. Okay, now I'm here on the second floor and I've got 75 feet. You're gonna find 75 to 100 feet. I'm gonna get you through some of the biggest homes, and believe me, this is a big house right here. But what I did is I ran a 2-inch hose and I ran a reducer cuff, so I got it down to 1.5 inches. You can run it straight 2 inch all the way to the wand if you want to, but sometimes that's a little bit cumbersome. Now, I want you to see the difference in the suction here. Let me set this down. With a booster and without. Now, I'll tell you what, it's not horrible, don't get me wrong, but vacuum makes a big difference in efficiency so you can move through the home quicker. All right, and here we are at the second floor. Kind of hear it. All right, well now I want you to listen to it and see how strong it is compared when I hook up the booster. I can shake this off, no problem. Let's take a look. So all I'm gonna do is take my 2-inch, hook it to the back, and then I've got an enlarger cup on this side. I'll hook it up, and then I'm just turning it on. Woo! I swear, that feels like a truck mount. Good luck throwing that off of there. You know what I mean? Crazy. Take a listen to this. You can hear a huge difference in it. That's going to help your carpets get cleaner faster, dry faster, and it's just going to improve your results, especially your efficiency. You want to move through the home and get the job done. It's also a good idea to get yourself a spot kit for specialty stains. Next, you're going to need a good deodorizer and a solvent sealer. There are a wide variety of different chemistries that are involved in the cleaning business. However, this is kind of the basic to really get you going, can cover probably 90% of the homes. However, don't forget to pick yourself up a mix guide. This basically has all the different products from pre-sprays, rinses, boosters, deodorizers, specialty stains, wool, green products, tile, grout, and stone. It's got pictures, shows you how to do it. Also, some cool tips and tricks. Also, don't forget your inspection tool, your UV light. Basically, I call it the ATM machine because let me tell you what, this finds the urine and makes you some money. And then next, you want to get yourself a nice air mover. That'll help the carpets dry a whole lot faster for you. On top of it, we have a video called How to Get Carpets Dry in 15 Minutes. Clients really love that a lot. So go down to the link in the description and go ahead and take a look at that. You'll also notice that I'm going to have a little post-bonnet machine in there. What does a post-bonnet machine do? What it basically does, it gets the carpets drier faster. It also gets them cleaner. Picks up any remaining soil, any remaining detergent, and that way the carpets stay cleaner longer. You get the big 3 R's, that's more referrals, more repeats, and more reviews. Just push the button and go. However, there is one problem in this industry with this machine. I'm going to show it to you right now. Check this out. You know, a post-bonnet machine is great, but remember, it's a post-bonnet, whether it's OP, oscillating pad, whether it's a 175, or if it is a planetary machine. They do a great job for sometimes pre-cleaning and also post-cleaning. But some carpet cleaners, unfortunately, feel like they can use this machine alone as a standalone cleaner. And what does that do? It leaves out several of the other cleaning steps which help get you a much deeper and more thorough clean. Now, some people might say, well, my customers are satisfied, but are they? Think about it. And when the customer leaves, she might be thinking to herself, you know what? I could have got a buffer and did this myself. Even a customer knows, and common sense tells you, it is not a deep and thorough clean. It's just a tip fiber cleaning. So watch for a video I've got coming very soon, and I'll break it all down for you. But just remember, in the future, this is not a standalone cleaner. Okay, we've gone through all the essentials. Now let's add a couple of other items, lastly, that just help with the experience. If you really think about it, we're trying to deliver as many PMOTs, positive moments of truth, as possible, and get rid of as many NMOTs, which are negative moments of truth, as possible. So what I like to do is maybe have a rake on hand. Some guys just like to leave the little backgammon design with their wand, and that's fine. However, a lot of people like to groom it out to help the carpets dry faster, especially when using a portable. It also helps you disperse your sealer for the carpets, your protection, and also your deodorizer. And also, it's kind of nice too to have some corner guards. Put those there. That way you don't do any damage to the corners. So all that leads to a greater experience for the client and leads to you getting more referrals, repeats, and reviews. Okay, you've gotten carpets down pat. Where do you go from there? Most guys will move over to furniture. Okay, so what can you do there? You can actually get a furniture tool, a little detail tool like this. It will hook to your portable, or you can go ahead and get yourself a little heated spotter machine like this. That way you don't have to bring this whole thing in if you're just going to be doing some upholstery. On top of it, you pop this right off, and it doubles as a nice stair detail tool. So basically, when you start to get set up, there's 3 different places you can set it up, and there's 3 different model machines that people use. Generally, there's a high heat, there's a high vacuum, and then there's what's called a dually, which actually does furniture, does carpets, and it does tile. It also has an auto fill and an auto pump out. So a lot of guys like to park that in the foyer. They can run their auto fill and their auto dump hoses right outside and get the cleaning. When it comes to setting up the high heat model or the high vacuum models, a lot of guys like to set them beside the kitchen or in the bathroom, and that's where we're going to get started. Now, basically, why do I like the bathroom so much? Because it kind of keeps the sound in one place. Also, you can do your bucket work from there. So you want to use the bucket to fill the machine. Also, you want to use it to dump the machine. So you have the toilet access, you have the tub access, and you're good to go. Now, let me show you how to clean the house. Okay, before I show you how to hook up the hoses, use the machine, and go through the whole cleaning process, something that's very important to me. I know some customers will take the time to pre-vacuum, but I feel like it's important for you to carry one also and go ahead and pre-vacuum too, because you want to get as much as that dry particulate soil out of there as possible, so you're not just turning it into mud, because that's just defeating your purpose. So go ahead and take your time, do a good thorough vacuum, and it'll make a huge difference in the cleaning process. Okay, let's go over all the controls here so you can understand exactly how the machine works. Number 1, you start over here, you have your main heater button. You have your auxiliary heater button, because this is the high heat version. Really gives you a lot of heat, you'll find out. You have your vacuum and you have your pump. You have your light indicators to let you know that they're on. Now you notice this indicator in the middle? This is very important. This lets you know that you're on a separate circuit so you don't blow a circuit, all right, inside of the home. So you can, if you unhook one side of your power cord, you notice the light went out. I've already hooked up 2 different circuits. I ran my cord towards the kitchen, one here in the bathroom, and look at that. Just make sure you don't put it in an area that it could be a trip hazard. That's very important. All right, now as you move down a little further down the machine, you notice how these are offset and they have the cutaways in them. There's a reason for that. When you pull these cords off of here, and this is your little dump valve here, which comes with the machine, you can put this under there so we can put your bucket under it. The reason this cut away this way and this comes off of here and these pop off, that way you can load it in and out of the truck and nothing hits. Everything's out of the way, so that's pretty cool. This is your dump valve back here. This right here is used for, actually you can use it for cleaning, and you can also get an airlock out of the machine. Down at the very bottom here, the last control is your PSI. Most cleaners clean around 400 or 500 PSI. This is your pressure regulator. You can turn and adjust it accordingly. You got nice large wheels so you can get up and down stairs. However, I like leaving it in one spot. Okay, let's go over the remaining part of the machine, starting at the bottom here. You notice it has a nice assist handle. That way you can tilt the machine and put it up inside of a vehicle, a whole lot easier than trying to lift the unit. But I do recommend having a ramp if you can get one. Right above that, you've got your solution line outlet right here. You've also got 2 clamps here. This is where you can open the machine and work on the motors if you need to. As you work up the machine, this is where your fresh water tank is. So you'll put your fresh water inside of here. This is where your waste tank is, and this lid does pop off, by the way. So if you need to clean the tank or you need to wipe it off or something like that, you can easily do that. Now, one pro tip. Definitely make sure you check your fresh water tank to see if there's anything there when it arrives, like cords and things of that nature. Okay, let's go over the remaining items that come with your machine. You're basically going to have this little bag right here, and it's going to have a bag of components that fit all the different models. You just use the components that work with your machine. Basically inside of it, you're going to have a manual dump. You're going to have an auto dump connector here, and then you're going to have an auto fill connector. So just use whatever works with your machine. Then as you move over here, you're going to have generally 25, 35, or 50 foot of hose, depending on the model you get for your vacuum hose. Same thing here, you're going to have 25, 35, or 55 foot of solution line. I recommend getting some extra vacuum hose and definitely getting some extra solution lines. On our portables, we like to put the 2-inch lid on there. So you can actually run 2-inch hoses if you want to, and that's really great if you're using a vacuum booster that we can put it upstairs and just keep this machine here and really maximize that vacuum. I really like that a lot. Now, before we get to filling it up, also keep this in mind. We have a little accessory bag that holds all your accessories, and we like to throw it in with each machine when you buy it from us. One more pro tip, I like to keep an extra extension cord in here. The reason I do that is because sometimes to get to the other circuit, you need a little bit extra length. All right, even though this is a heated machine, I like to go ahead and preheat my hot water inside of my tub. Then I go ahead and fill it up. I'd like to let you know one more tip too before I move on. Another pro tip is make sure that your extension cord's gauge matches the gauge that came with the unit. I'd like to point out you can take the lid off of here, and this is important. You want to keep this filter clean. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get off. Just kind of wiggle it, pull it off of there. And you want to keep this filter clean at the end of every day. It's also got a ball in there. You want to make sure that ball is moving freely. Hey, so you're probably wondering, what is the ball for? Well, basically, as your wastewater rises, the ball will rise and it'll cut off your vacuum. That way you know it's full and needs to be dumped. All right, at the bottom of your freshwater tank will be a freshwater filter. It's a good idea to clean that at least every day too. So that's good maintenance parts. Go ahead and clean this filter for your freshwater and clean the one for your dirty water also. Now I like to cut my heaters on so the water can get nice and hot while I'm getting everything set up, and it'll be good to go. Hey, I also want to point out that some carpet cleaners, if the carpets aren't that soiled, will just run Formula 99 or some Black Label alkaline rinse through the machine. However, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big believer in using a pre-spray. Now you can get yourself a 1 or 2 gallon pump up jug and apply your pre-spray, that's fine. However, with all of our portable models, they have enough PSI where you can go ahead and use an inline sprayer like this and have a quicker and easier and more complete job done. So I got the heater on, turn the pump on, boom. Okay, something that's very important is you always want to remind the customer that there is a slip hazard. Whenever you're cleaning carpets, it's very easy to walk off a wet surface onto a hard surface, whether it's hardwood floors or whether it's tile, and slip and fall. So warn the clients thoroughly ahead of time. Also, put it in your terms and conditions. If you have it written up, we keep it in our House Call Pro. It's right there. They sign off on it so they know exactly where we stand and where they stand. All right, now on top of that, I like to take and use floor protection, because if you're working by a hard surface like a hardwood floor, whether you're cleaning tile and grout or you're cleaning carpet, you want something like this that you can lay down to protect that surface, so that way you don't damage it and you don't have to replace it. You know, many cleaners, when it comes to buying a portable, they don't know which model to buy. Well, what I've found by owning truck mount forms for almost 2 decades now is there's basically 3 different types of portables that people go with. They either go with a high vacuum, an extreme heat, or a machine that does everything. So that's what we've basically done. We went ahead and designed the machine, all very similar, but all very different on top of it. This machine is built out with a tremendous amount of vacuum. It's just flat out vacuum, and that's what some guys want. They just want to get out there and as much vacuum as they can get and use the hot water from the customer. Then there's the other type of portable guy. He likes just nothing but mostly heat, because remember, you sacrifice something to gain something else. So if you want a lot of vacuum, all right, you have to give up the heat sometimes. If you want a lot of heat, sometimes you have to give up some vacuum. Then, if you want to get something that has auto fill, auto dump, with every bell and whistle, and also be able to clean tile and grout at 800 PSI, we have what's called the dually. So remember, we have the extreme vacuum, the extreme heat, and the dually. It's really important for you to decide what fits you the best. Don't always go by what other people feel like they like online, because everybody is different. You need to find out what means the most to you. But remember, they'll all do a great job, especially if you're using a booster with them. As you probably noticed, except for the components and a couple of switches, they're almost all identical. What's the advantage to that? Being built on the same frame. All the parts are interchangeable, so it's very easy to keep the parts in stock and many things you can upgrade. Watch for a complete video coming soon, breaking down exactly how they're different, and yet they're still almost all the same. When it comes to mixing your chemistry, it really makes a big difference in the cleaning results. Most of the times, if it's just normal soil, if you got a 4-to-1, remember these come in 4-to-1 or 8-to-1, just a little metering tip in there. See my video on how to just take that little metering tip out, pop that out as 4-to-1. That's how I run mine most all the time on all my trucks, and I recommend you do the same. So in that situation, you take about 4 or 5 scoops of Black Label, put it in there, shake it up real good. I like to fill it halfway with hot water, add the product, shake it up, add the rest of the water, shake it up, and then go inside to clean. That'll generally take care of a whole home, no problem. You don't have any leftover product. Now, you can also go ahead and boost your pre-spray. There's 2 different ways to boost it. You can go ahead and add a little bit, 1 or 2 more scoops of Black Label pre-spray, or you could add a scoop of Grout Master, or you can add a little bit of Citrusolve. It all depends on what you're running into. If you're running into some nylon carpets, they clean up fairly easy. If you got some polyesters that are super oily with a lot of dog oils, then it's a good idea to go ahead and boost it. Now, if you need some tips and tricks, on the back of our mix guide that I showed earlier, you notice it says in here, you can mix it up accordingly to the situation you run into. It just makes it very simple with pictures, photos, and walks you right through it. Another thing to keep in mind also is when you are moving furniture, if that's something you decide to do, my company, we move basic furniture. Some companies move no furniture. However, when you're moving them, sometimes they have wood stain on the legs, and if you're moving it on a wet carpet, you can get wood stain on the carpet, and it's very difficult, if not next near impossible to get out. Also, if it has metal under it, it can leave a rust stain. So what do? Well, you can buy some tabs. We sell them at tmfshop.net, or you can get yourself some tabs that have a stick to them. That way you can go stick it to the bottom of the unit, slide it back and forth. You don't have to worry about streaking, and it protects it from getting any stains on the carpet. Very simple to dump. All you have to do is get your little manual dump valve, put it on there. Remember, this stays off. That way it's nice and concave, and you pull it up inside your vehicle. So this pulls on and off. Put this in position. Most guys use a 5-gallon bucket. I've got a 2.5, 3-gallon bucket here. It'll do. So just take and pull the valve. Kind of go slow with it first, and then work your way up. You see the dirty water coming right out of there. And then once you got all your dirty water out, just go dump it in the toilet, and you're good to go. Shoo, all done. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, that was a lot of work. Well, you know what? It is a lot of work. But that's what prevents the clients from wanting to do it themselves. Generally, once they try it one time, they call a professional after that. But don't get worried about it, okay? Because believe me, you're going to build a system over time. Now, how do you go about building a system? Well, you need to build your confidence. How do you build your confidence? Practice, practice, practice. Start at your own home. Do it over and over again. How about your friends? How about your relatives? If you keep on doing that, that'll help you build a system and it'll give you a lot of confidence. And that goes a long ways. What else can you do to build some confidence? Well, don't forget about truckmountforums.com. It's a monstrous resource where you can go in there and search just about any subject when it comes to cleaning and diverse services that are related to cleaning. Over 2 million posts in there. And then we have the private page on Facebook, the group, and that's Truck Mount Forums Carpet Cleaning Professionals. And there's over 20,000 members there and thousands of posts every single day. Just get in there, ask your questions, so you can get an answer just about anything. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Truck Mount Forums YouTube page. I have literally hundreds and hundreds of helpful videos there that have accumulated over the last couple of decades to help you become a more successful cleaner. All right. On top of it, don't forget we have the store, tmfshop.net. You can find all your needs and all your tools, machines, chemical, anything you need, we have it there. And if you have any further questions, you can always go to support@truckmountforums.com, put your email in there, and email us any kind of question, and we can handle it from there. Oh, and last but not least, don't forget about our online classes. We offer a complete line of online classes, whether it's upholstery cleaning, carpet cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, you name it, anything that's related to the cleaning industry. We have many diverse services, and you can find it at tmfshop.net or tmfacademy.com. On top of it, we also offer a subscription box where you can go ahead and subscribe, get all the courses as a bundle, and it's just a monthly fee for a year. That's pretty cool. You can go through all the courses, get all those, plus you get a nice little gift every single month from us. And I also offer mentoring. So go to tmfshop.net and you'll be able to find my mentoring too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you enjoy all this information. I'm a big believer in the law of reciprocity. I believe if I help you become successful, you'll help me become successful. And I'm living proof of that. I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums. Have yourself a great day.